As part of the preschool upgrade project, new improvements such as wireless internet and new devices will now enable you to take full benefit of Microsoft 365 applications. Microsoft 365 can help you access and manage information and collaborate with your staff online. The Technology Adoption Team will provide ongoing training and support for preschools in the use of Microsoft applications. In this video, you'll be taken through how to get help from ICT, an overview of Microsoft 365 and what is available to you as part of our subscription, how you can use Microsoft Teams in your preschool, and how to access further resources. This is an introduction to Microsoft 365 and Teams. Further training on more specific functionality and applications can be provided upon request. In this training, you will learn how to collaborate, share information, and have conversations across your site, and how to access information anywhere at any time. How to get ICT help. ICT help can be obtained by logging a job via Edit. Edit is accessible via Eduportal and is a self-service portal where you can log tickets with the ICT service desk. You can report problems, request a service, track current tickets, and access a library of ICT self-help articles. In Edit, use Report a Problem to log break-fix issues. These could be things like my printer isn't working or I'm having issues with internet connectivity. Use Order Something to order hardware or software and to request a range of services. It's not just for purchasing as the icon suggests. There are a range of forms that can be used to request services, but if you can't find what you're looking for, there is a generic Contact ICT Services form. Learn is a place where you can access a large catalogue of self-help articles. Requests in the menu bar at the top allows you to review current and historic Edit jobs. You can open the request and view all of the activity to date, and there's a message box here where you can type additional details to your request or perhaps request an update. And finally, in the bottom right-hand corner, we have live chat, which enables you to communicate with the service desk in real time. Microsoft 365 Overview. To access your Microsoft 365 applications, you can start at your LearnLink email. You'll notice 9 dots in the top left of screen. This is the App Launcher. Click here and then select Office 365. This will take you to our home page. It's worth noting that Microsoft 365 and Office 365 are used interchangeably. They do mean the same thing. Alternatively, and particularly if you're at home or not using a work device, you can open up your browser, preferably Chrome, Edge or Firefox, and type in www.office.com, sign in with your LearnLink credentials, and you'll be presented with the same dashboard. Our Microsoft 365 dashboard is the portal to all the applications that are part of our Microsoft 365 subscription. Firstly, you'll notice some tiles along the middle part of the screen in a banner. These are documents that you already have access to. They might be your own files or files that have been shared with you by someone else in the department. Or they could be files that are stored in a team that you belong to. So anything you see here is something that you already have access to. Here we have a button that says Install Office. As part of our subscription, each employee is entitled to up to 5 copies of Office that can be installed on personal devices. This ceases once your employment with the department ceases, but please feel free to take advantage of this as it can save you a few $100s per year. Down the left-hand side of screen, you'll notice a number of icons. These are the applications that you have access to. To see a full list, you can click on the 9 dots or the App Launcher and see a larger list. If there's any applications that you're expecting to see here but you can't see, you can click on All Apps and that will show you everything that you have access to. A few things to point out about our Microsoft 365 environment. The environment is secure and can only be accessed via a LearnLink account. Our data is kept in Australia and we can store anything classified to sensitive. It's a safe environment and all of the relevant risk assessments have been undertaken. Having said that, how you choose to share information can impact that safety. If we use the example of ANCAP safety ratings for cars, You could have a car with a 5-star rating, but how you operate that car can impact how safe it actually is. If you don't wear a seatbelt or you drink and drive, then it becomes unsafe and you are putting yourself at risk. In our Microsoft 365 environment, how we use and share our information can change the level of risk and therefore the safety of our information. We're now going to take a brief look at some of the applications that you have access to as part of your Microsoft 365 subscription. We'll start with Outlook. This is the online version of your LearnLink email. So essentially, you can go to office.com at any time from any device and access your LearnLink email online. Next, we'll take a look at OneDrive, symbolised by the blue cloud. This is our online cloud storage for work personal files. You can create your own folder structure in here, and files stored are accessible anywhere, anytime with an internet connection. OneDrive can be used in place of USBs that can become corrupt or lost. We have 1 terabyte of storage available to us in OneDrive, and anything that we store here is private to ourselves unless we choose to share it with others in the department. And sharing is simple. We can right-click on the file or the folder, select Share, and enter the email addresses that you want to share the file with. We can choose to stop sharing files at any time as well. Files stored in OneDrive are only available while you are employed by the department. If you leave, you will need to make sure that you transfer anything to your own personal account or transfer it to another staff member who may be taking over from you. Here we can see a list of my files. We've got some menu items on the left-hand side. We can also access our recent items. We can access files that have been shared with us by someone else in the department. And also we can access files that have been shared with us within a team. We do have a recycle bin as well, so if you do delete a file, it does remain accessible in that recycle bin for 90 days. Further than that, the service desk can restore for a further 30 days. So we can get back any files within a time frame that we may have accidentally deleted. Another good benefit of OneDrive is that we can actually synchronize our OneDrive files online to our devices. This enables us to select certain files to be available to us on our device without an internet connection. If you make any changes to a document offline, as soon as you have internet connection, that file synchronizes with the online version. This functionality will be demonstrated in the Teams section of this video. It's also worth noting that while OneDrive by default is only accessible with a LearnLink account and we can only share with others in the department, if there is a business case to do so, you can request through Edit to ICT that your OneDrive account becomes unlocked. This would enable you to share with external people. Use cases for this could be that you are working with a contractor at your site and you want to share large files with them. You can share those files via OneDrive with that person's email address by having that account unlocked. Another example, we've seen some preschools create a folder for each child, share that folder with the parent, and then during the year they have access to any information that you drop into that folder. Next up, we have Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. These are simply the online versions of the applications that you may already use. The online version allows you to collaborate on documents with your team in real time. There's no save button, your work is automatically saved. And there is also inbuilt version history. These are automatically saved and kept behind the scenes. We'll have a demonstration of this later in the video. Moving on to OneNote now. OneNote is your online notebook. Simply put, it's a digital version of your paper notebook or a lever arch binder with information stored inside it. OneNote can be used for your own personal note-taking or perhaps shared with your staff for children's observations or staff meetings, for example. Here we have an example notebook for observations. We have 2 sections in our notebook, the kangaroos and the koalas, And then within each section, we have our children that relate to that group. So here we can see Anne Shirley. We can see here that there's been an observation taken on Wednesday, the 9th of June 2021. This was done with an iPad in the yard. We can insert video, audio, pictures. We can write with a stylus or we can type into our OneNote, and we can all be using this at the same time. Another example for using OneNote is for staff meetings. Here we have 2021, and then our sections are broken up into terms. So if I click into term 1, we can see here our agendas, and then we have our agenda for every week of that term. Likewise with the minutes, there's all the minutes for every week of that term. The great thing about using OneNote is that it's really easy to click through and view the information that we've entered. So we can jump from week to week of our agendas and minutes, or if we're in our observations notebook, we can jump from child to child. We don't have to open and close documents. We also have search functionality, so we know that if we've used a word in a particular minute or in a child's observation, we can just search for that word and it will take us straight to it. The next application to show you is Forms. Forms is a free survey or quiz tool. We can start a new form by clicking on the drop-down and selecting New Form. Here's an example of a use case for preschool using a form. We have a registration form here for Grandparents, Parents and Special Friends Day. It's got a nice theme to it, and as we scroll down, we've got a number of questions. We can make questions mandatory, and we can have different types of questions. So for this registration form, we're asking for the child's name, the name of the guest attending, and the contact number. Then we're asking for the parent to select which date that they'll be attending, and can they help on the day. If the answer is no, they can select no and submit the form. But if the answer is yes, they're presented with another question asking, what type of help can you provide? They can then submit the form. The creator of the form then gets access to the responses, and this is in real time. If someone was completing this form right now, we would see this response information change. So we can see how many responses we have and the average time taken to complete, and we get a summary of the questions that are asked. And then we get some with graphs here. So we can see here date attending is a 50-50 split. And then we can see some more graphs that give us a good indication of how our event's progressing. Forms can be shared externally, so you don't need a LearnLink account to complete a form. So this enables us to share with the public, and for preschools that would be sharing forms with parents. As long as the parent has access to the internet, they would click on a link, see this form, and be able to respond. The next app we'll take a look at is Sway. Sway is an online presentation tool that's great for preschool newsletters. The best way to show you Sway is to just show you an example. Here's a fictional preschool where we've created a newsletter. So you can see it's got a title, we've got this moving picture, and as I scroll through, we've got things coming in from the left-hand side. So here we've got in this issue, we've got a table of our coming events. Here's some information about our program with some photos, a snapshot of what we've been learning this week, a visit that we've undertaken, and here's that information about our Grandparents, Parents and Special Friends Day. But what we've also been able to do in this way is actually embed that registration form. So when we share this newsletter with our parents, they can respond to that registration form straight away without even leaving the newsletter. Further down, we've got some information about our Governing Council meeting. And here we've got our community news section. And this is just a way to demonstrate how we can have image stacks. So if you've got a lot of photos to show, you can pop them in a stack and parents can just click through rather than having to see page after page of photos. We also have the ability to embed videos into Sway. So this is a great way of sharing videos with parents if you don't have any other means to do so. We've seen during lockdown, some preschools are recording story time and then posting that video on Sway and sharing that with the parents. We've also seen preschools run their information nights online, record that, and then make it available via Sway for anyone who wasn't able to attend on the night. Anything produced in Sway is simply shared by a link and can be shared publicly. Parents don't need that LearnLink account, they just need an internet connection. You also don't need to be creative to use Sway. You just need to have the content, and Sway will take care of the presentation for you. It will choose a theme, it will choose your color palette, and then you can save that as a template. You don't have to use what Sway chooses for you. You can change it, but at least it gives you a starting point if you're not, that creative. Another great thing about Sway is the analytics that you can get on your presentation. So for this newsletter, I can see that I've had 110 views. I can see the average time spent and what the average completion rate was. I can even see the numbers that glanced, the numbers that quickly read the newsletter, or the numbers that deeply read the newsletter. These are analytics that you wouldn't get by sending an email or handing out a paper copy. It doesn't tell you who, but at least it shows that level of engagement. Finally, we have Teams. Teams is a collection of people, conversations, and files, and is essentially the hub that brings all of the Microsoft 365 applications together. It's accessible via the web through office.com, but there is also an available desktop app, which most of you will have, and this provides the best experience for using Teams. We're going to go into more detail on Teams in the next section. Microsoft Teams. As mentioned previously, Teams is a collaboration space for a group of people. You may have Teams for a partnership, a portfolio, or your preschool, for example. The team space can be the hub for everything Microsoft 365, and only individuals with LearnLink accounts can be added to Teams. Firstly, we'll go through some quick navigation points for Teams. In the top right, you'll have your profile picture or initials. I can click on my photo and change my profile picture. Just be mindful that this will follow you through to your email. The status shows our availability. It's linked to your LearnLink calendar, so if you have a meeting in your calendar, you will show as busy, but you can manually change your status as well. For example, if you don't want to be receiving notifications for a period of time, you can change your status to Do Not Disturb. The Saved button here is a useful feature for bookmarking messages or posts in Teams. Someone may send you a message or make a post that you really want to easily go back to. By saving the message, it will appear here so that you can easily access it at any time in the future. Further along in the video, I'll show you how to save messages or posts. Moving across to the three dots now, we have some more menu items here. I'll point out here the zoom. You can increase and decrease the zoom. The optimum is 100%, but you can adjust this to suit your needs. It is worth noting that if you go too high, you can lose some of the icons and screen real estate. So if that ever happens, check your zoom and adjust accordingly. We'll jump into settings. This is where you can personalize your team's experience. Theme, you can choose between the default theme, a dark theme, or a high contrast theme. And we can adjust our layout as well. We might like to see our tiles in a grid view, or perhaps we prefer them in a list view. Down the side here, we'll point out notifications. You can customize how you want to receive notifications here. If you're someone that works in Teams all day, you may not need to receive email notifications of missed activity. But if you're not, these notifications may be useful for you. So take a look here and adjust your preference. Devices. Here you can check your connection for speakers, microphone, and webcam. This is useful if you're conducting a lot of online meetings to make sure that you can hear people and they can hear you. A great thing to do is make a test call. This allows you to check your sound by recording a quick message for playback. If you can hear the automated message asking you to record and then your played back message, you're good to go. Moving across to the top middle of screen, we have a large search bar. This enables you to search for people, and that is anyone in the department, as well as files and messages that you have access to, stored in any team. This is really handy when you're a member of a lot of teams and you're looking for something but can't quite remember which team it is from. So simply type your search criteria into the bar here, hit enter, and then you'll notice a panel appear on the left-hand side. Here it will show me every message that I have that I'm a part of with the word Hansel in it. I can flick over to people and it will show me every person in the department with the word Hansel in their name or a variation of that. It's also important to note that we do see students here. So they have school SA and student there with their name. We cannot chat or video call students, but we can add students to teams. Files. This will show me all of the files that I have access to where the search term is in the title of the file or it appears on the inside of the document. Moving across to the icons down the left-hand side, we'll just point out a couple of them. The first one is activity. This is like a news feed showing activity that has occurred in teams that you may have missed. We have chat. So this is private chat between you and someone else or a group of people in the department. It's not linked to a team. Within a private chat, you can start a video call, an audio call, or share your screen. The Teams icon takes you to all of your existing teams and allows you to join or create teams from here. In the Teams view here, if any of your teams has its name in bold, it means there's new content in that team that you haven't yet seen. From here, by clicking on the three dots of any teams, you can leave a team that you no longer need to be in. You can delete a team if you're the owner of it, but please note that this deletes the team and everything in it. If need be, we can also hide a team. So you may not be ready to leave a team, but you don't necessarily want to see it in your view. So you can hide that team and it will appear down here under hidden teams in the left-hand side. We'll take a look now at how to create a team, and then we'll go through how you can use that team within your preschool. To create a team, we've got a button in the top right that says Join or Create Team. Click on that, and then we're going to create a team. In our education environment, there are 4 types of teams. Class is a teacher-student team. PLC and staff are teams that come with a very templated notebook. These teams don't allow flexibility to add other notebooks easily. For preschools, we recommend using Other. We'll give our team a name. You can put a description in if you like. And then the privacy of the team is really important. It defaults to private, and we do recommend that you keep it as private. If you select public, this means that anyone in our organisation can join your team, and that includes students. By keeping it private, you maintain control over who can join your team. Click on Next to create the team. And then the first thing it's going to ask me to do is add some members. I may want to get my team ready before I add members, and I can skip this part. But for now, I'm just going to add my colleague. She will automatically be added as a member of this team. A member is someone that can consume the information in the team. They can add files, delete files, make conversations in the team, but they don't have any control over the team and its members and its settings. So I'm going to switch her to an owner. This gives her the same permissions that I have. We'd recommend that you have more than one owner to ensure that the team can be managed during any absences. You'll see here that our team has been created with a general channel. This comes as a default. A channel is simply a way to categorize information within your team, and you can create a number of channels down the side to do this. We will come back to this shortly. Teams expire after 12 months, but each owner of the team will be prompted to renew. And all content in the team belongs to the team and stays with the team, even if you as an individual leave the department. When it comes to managing our team and looking at the permissions, we can click on the three dots next to the team name, and anywhere you see three dots means that there are more options and menu items available. We'll select Manage Team, and here you will see the team owners as well as any members that are a part of your team. You can add additional members at any time by clicking Add Member here. When you're adding members, you can decide at that point whether they will also be owners of your team and promote them accordingly. Or you can promote existing members to owners here also. It's worth noting that if I want to delete an owner from a team, I can't do it while they're an owner. So I would need to downgrade them to a member to then be able to delete them from the team. Before we add more people to our team, we want to check the settings. I want to see what our members are allowed to do as part of our team. We click on Settings and we'll have a look at member permissions. So this tells me that my members are allowed to do all of these things within my team. They can currently create and update channels. They can also delete channels, and they can also create private channels. So a channel is standard and everyone in the team has access to it, but there is the ability to create private channels where you determine what members can view that information. You may not want your members to be able to create private channels because this then means they could create a private channel that has its own file section and its own conversations, and you as an owner could be locked out of that. It's a good idea to come in here and review before you add members to your team. Up the top here, we can add a team picture if we like. We can generate a team code. By generating a team code, this allows people to join a team easily. So if I didn't want to add a large number of staff to my team, I could generate a code, provide the people with that code, and then back in the Teams view, when we go join or create a team, the staff can enter that code in there and automatically be added to that team. The other thing we'll point out here is we do have some fun stuff in Teams. We have stickers and memes, which you can turn on or off depending on how you would like to run your team. Having a look at channels now, as I mentioned, every team comes default with a general channel, and that has a posts and files section. And every channel we create will have its own posts and files section. A channel is a way to categorize your information. So in your preschool team, you may want a channel for improvement planning, one for observations, one for staff meetings. Perhaps you might have a channel for facilities or for photos, and so on. To create new channels, we click on the three dots next to the team name. We select Add Channel, and we give our channel a name. I'll call this Photos. And just a fun little tip to add a bit of character to your team. If you hit the Windows button followed by the full stop, hit them together on your keyboard, you'll come up with the emoji keyboard. So I might want to look for the camera emoji. And there we go. I've just added a little camera next to my channel name, and that's just going to bring a little bit of character to my team. We don't necessarily need to put in a description, and the privacy does default to standard, so everyone in the team has access. But if you did want to create a private channel within your team, you would then create it as private and select which team members you want to have access. We'll click Add here. And you can see now that channel has been created. It's got its own post section and its own file section as well. Let's pause now for a little activity so you can have some practice. So have a go at creating a team and adding some members to practice with. Promote them to owners, create some channels within your team, and don't worry, this can all be deleted later when you're finished practicing. Let's look at using posts in our teams. So posts can be used to communicate with your team members, and you can post in any channel of your team. I'm going to come to the general channel. I'm going to start a new conversation, and I'm just going to type a message. So a simple post like this is only going to be seen if your staff are actively working in teams and notice the post, or they notice that their team name is in bold, showing that there's missed activity. To get their attention, however, you can actually tag people, and this is the best way for people to know that you're trying to get their attention. It will send them a notification. So if I type the @ symbol and start typing my colleague's name, select her name and hit enter, everyone in the team can see the message, but Cindy will have received a notification in Teams. Now let's say you wanted to get the attention of everyone in the team, not just one person. I don't have to individually @ every single person in the team. What I can do instead is type the @ symbol and start typing the word team. Then I can select our team name, type my message, hit enter, and everyone in the team will then get a notification. For some additional functionality, I can hover over a message and I can use some reactions. I can click on the 3 dots. I can edit a message that I've sent. I can also delete it. And here's where I can save that message. So let's say someone had sent me a link to something really important. I didn't want to have to go and find that every single time. I can save this message and then it will appear up here under my profile and saved, and I can just access it at any time. If I want to add richer content to my posts, we have a little A with a pencil, and this is the formatting button. So this enables us to draft messages. We can add formatting such as bold, italics, underline, highlighting. We can add tables. The other thing that you can do here is where it says new conversation, we can actually change it to an announcement. So we could change the color here. We could add a particular illustration or upload our own image. But this just gives you a good highlighted message. And this could be and this message will not send until I hit the send button here. Also, with our new conversations, we have the ability to add emojis if we like. We also have access to stickers. So there's a large range of stickers, different themes here. And if you don't mind a little bit of fun within your team, you can also create your own memes. So you can select a picture and add your own captions. And then I could send that. So just to recap on posting, we can type messages into the posts and everyone in the team will see it, but they won't know that it's there unless they go in and see it. So this is where we either tag individuals or we tag the whole team to make sure that we're grabbing their attention. We can use the formatting button to draft messages and add some formatting and make announcements through this way as well. And we have our emojis and stickers. All of the content posted here is visible to everyone in the team. And one last tip, and this is for people that may already be using Teams, sometimes you might start to type a message and accidentally hit enter when you're not quite finished. This will actually send the message. To get around that, we can simply shift and enter to get as many lines in a message as we like, or alternatively, we can open that formatting and we can enter as many times as we like in the message. Let's do another activity now. So have a practice at posting a message, tagging someone, tagging the entire team, editing a posted message, deleting a posted message, and adding some of that formatting to a message. Perhaps try a new announcement. We'll take a look at managing our files within our team now. As I mentioned earlier, each channel has its own posts and files section. So I'm in the General channel now. I'm going to click on the Files tab, and this is the Files section here. Any files added to a standard channel are visible to all team members, but any files added to a private channel are visible only to those channel members. And the files that are stored in the team are owned by the team and not the individual. We can create any kind of folder structure that we would like here simply by hitting New Folder, giving the folder a name, and there we have a folder. We can upload existing files or folders from our devices, or we can create brand new Word, Excel, and PowerPoint documents directly from within Teams. For this demonstration, I'm just going to upload an existing file that I have stored on my computer. And this is just a weekly meal planner. Everyone in the team can now see and access this weekly meal planner. If I open that, the document will open in the Teams viewer, but I can still interact with this Excel document in the same way that I would otherwise. So I might add some things here. So you can see here I've added some text to my document. The great thing about storing your documents in Teams is that I could be working on this with all of my staff members. So everyone in my team has access to this file. We could all be working and collaborating on this document together. So this is a shopping list example, but it could be children's observations or working on reports, all of those sorts of things. And behind the scenes, the document version history is being maintained. And this is automatically saving. So there's no save button here that I have to hit. It's constantly saving and updating those versions. To close the document, I simply click the close button here. The other great thing that I can do is I can actually copy this link to the document and post about it in our post section. So the three dots here, I can copy link, select copy. I can come back to our post section and I can start a new conversation. I'm just going to open up the formatting. Hi all, here is the updated weekly meal planner. I'm going to highlight weekly meal planner and I'm going to insert the link that we just copied and send that. So instead of saying, hi guys, go to the files section, find the weekly meal planner and open it, just by copying that link, I'm able to direct them straight to that document. We'll do another quick activity now. Upload a practice Word or Excel document into the General Channel Files section of your test team. Copy the link to that document and share that in the Post section. Open the shared document and make some changes, and ask that your team members also make some changes at the same time, and you should see those changes being made in real time. As previously mentioned, when we're working on our document online, it is being auto-saved and the version history is being maintained. This happens behind the scenes, but we can review the version history by going into SharePoint. Now, SharePoint is simply the back end of Teams. To get there, we're in our Files section and we have an Open in SharePoint menu item. If it's not visible on your screen, there'll be 3 dots. You can click on the 3 dots and it will appear in the menu items there. But here, I'll just click on Open in SharePoint. So you can see here, I've got that same resources folder, and there's my weekly meal planner. I can right-click on this file and go to version history. So this shows me there were 2 saves in the document that I was working on. Now, I was doing that very quickly. If we were working on it for a longer period of time, there would have been further save points. If I wanted to go back to version 1, so the changes that I made to version 2 were incorrect, I can click on the drop-down arrow next to version 1, and I can restore that version. Now, it's not going to delete any other version. It's just going to promote this first version to the top. So I still have the full history of how this document was put together. The other thing I'll point out in SharePoint is that we have access to the recycle bin. So anything that you delete from Teams will come into this recycle bin and it will remain available for 90 days. Further to that, the service desk can get a document back for 30 more days, but beyond that, the document will be gone. If I was to delete this weekly meal planner now, you'll see it disappears from here. And if I come back to Teams and do a refresh, you'll see that it's disappeared from the team. But I can come into SharePoint, into the recycle bin. There's my weekly meal planner. I can select it and restore it. And then back into my team. And there's the weekly meal planner back. We'll do another quick activity now. So once you've uploaded some files into your Files tab of your team, made some changes to some of those documents, open that in SharePoint, view the version history of some of those files, try restoring one of the previous versions, then delete a document and restore it from the recycle bin. The last thing to demonstrate is how you can access and manage your files without even having to go into Teams. We have the ability to synchronize the files from our Teams to our devices. This way we can manage them through the familiar File Explorer view. What it does is allows you to transfer files easily from other folders on your network. For example, your records management drive. You could transfer those files to your teams, and that way your staff can access information from their own devices. It also allows you to access certain files offline when you don't have an internet connection. If you make changes to a document while not connected to the internet, the next time you connect, those changes will synchronize online. So essentially, you can choose what is available on your device and what is available only with an internet connection. This will save space on your device. We have 25 terabytes of storage in Teams, which is very substantial. However, our devices have nowhere near this amount of storage. To be able to synchronize with your device, we need to be in the Files section of our team where all of our files are stored. We want to open in SharePoint. Here we have our team. And we want to click back onto Documents so that we're at the root of the team. So you can see here we have our general channel. If we had other channels with files in it in our team, they will also appear here. From here, we're going to click on the Sync button, and then we're going to open OneDrive. The synchronization process uses OneDrive. We'll close this message, open our File Explorer, and what you'll see here is under Department for Education with a little building icon, I can now see my PUP Demo 2021 team, the team that I created today. I can open that up. There's my general channel. There's the resources folder and the weekly meal planner. This is a direct synchronization from the team, so anything that we do here is reflected in the team and vice versa. If I was to create a new folder here, when I come into my team and I refresh, there's the folder I just created. Likewise, if I'm to upload a file into the team, and that synchronization is in place, we'll see that here in the File Explorer view. You'll notice in the status column, we have some clouds visible. That shows that a synchronization exists and that these files are only available with an internet connection. We do, though, have the ability to be able to access these files without the internet. We can select individual files or whole folders. We can right-click and say always keep on this device. By doing that, the file is downloaded to your device and available offline. So you can access those files without an internet connection, make changes, and then when you are reconnected to the internet, those changes will automatically synchronize with the online version. If you no longer need the file available offline, you can right-click and say free up space. Because this is a direct synchronization, if you no longer want to see the files on your device, you will need to stop that synchronization. You cannot just delete the folders, otherwise this will delete it from the team. As an example, if I delete this Trudy folder now, I'll come into my team and refresh. That folder has now disappeared from the team. So if we no longer want to see these folders on our device, we need to stop that synchronization. To do that, we need to locate the blue cloud on the taskbar at the bottom of our screen. That's the OneDrive client. It may be hidden in this little tray if you can't see it along that taskbar. But we click on that, we come to Help in Settings, we click on Settings, and in the Account tab, we can see what locations are syncing. So here is my PUP Demo 2021, and I'm going to stop that synchronization. So click on Stop and Stop. Those files are no longer synchronized to my device. The last activity we'll do is to practice syncing your team's files to your device. So go into your practice team and do that synchronization process through SharePoint. Upload a file to the team from your File Explorer and go to the team file section and refresh, see what you've uploaded, and then stop that syncing process. Further resources. We have videos to step you through all of the different functionality and processes that you've seen today. We also have a preschool Microsoft support team that we'd love you to join. You can post questions in this team, answer each other's questions, and share great things that you're doing. You can also access numerous resources. In particular, we have a YouTube channel, and this links to our PUP-specific playlist. There's a number of videos in there. If there's anything you can't find and you'd like to have a video created, please reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to create some how-tos for you. Additionally, we have a link here to some extra credit homework. So this is essentially a sway that will step you through some of the activities that you've seen today and enable you to practice further. And we've got some videos attached there as well. If you'd like to join this team, take note of this code. And then come back to your All Teams screen, click on Join or Create Team, and enter that code here. You'll automatically be added to that team. Ultimately, we're here to support you, so please reach out with any questions and we'd be happy to come and provide training at your site with your staff if you would like.